Tonight, the floodgates are opening. We got DC news, we got Marvel news, WandaVision in full effect, Falcon and the Winter Soldier just around the corner, and we have a very special guest host tonight on Comic Book Canon! Hello, Friday! It's Comic Book Canon time, and we are glad that you are here to share and talk and laugh and cry sometimes about everything that is comic books and this hobby that we truly love. I am grateful and just so happy that I'm able to share every Friday night with my co-host, Christopher. How are you, buddy?
I want to talk about comics.
Well, guess what? We're going to talk about comics right now. We got a lot to talk about in the show, Chris. We got a lot to show off in the show, and we have a special guest here. You guys know Swagglehaus Comics. He does a lot of cool stuff on YouTube. He breaks it down just very simple, especially people who are looking to get back in the hobby. So he's going to be coming up after the news. But Chris, speaking of the news, we got a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. And a special Comic Book Canon announcement too.
We do. What is that Comic Book Canon announcement? Boom.
Yeah. So for those that didn't already see the videos and enter, we had a lot of entries already, but we launched our 500 sub contest today, guys. It's really simple what you need to do. I would just recommend after you hang out and watch the show with us, go check out the contest video on the channel here. Watch it, comment on it to make sure that you are subbed to the channel, and then you got to click the link over to my contest video on my channel and just answer the simple question in the comics there, and you will be entered and to win not only one grand prize, but if you are on top of it and get your entry in early, you have the possibility of winning a second prize as well. So good luck to everyone.
Good stuff, guys. The link is below, so check it out. Also, we got to give props here. We had Brian Heptowski from State of Comics on, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, an interview, and he revealed on the show his the store variant for Joker #1 was an homage to Batman 251. It's an insane Neil Adams cover, guys. Absolutely insane. Well, we're here to show it to you right now. It is just gorgeous. I have to admit, Chris, I ordered one.
Aha!
I think there are 500 left, guys. If you are interested, head over to stateofcomics.com. We got to give him props. Ryan did an incredible job collaborating with Neil Adams on this homage. I mean, look at that. That cover is just gorgeous.
Absolutely.
But anyways, how about this, Chris? How about we get right into the news, and then we'll bring Swagglehaus Comics on to talk about more stuff.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Hit it up. Let's go. You start.
All right. Okay, guys. First on the list, MCU goodness. We got more Falcon and Winter Soldier reveals. We got the whole slate of costume reveals, guys. Released by Topps. We got our first look at Baron Zemo and John Walker's U.S. agent. Check these out, guys. We're going to bring this up. So here we got Falcon, obviously looking sleek there in his standard suit. Amazing. I love the wings. It feels like the wings are getting more aerodynamic as the years pass here as we see him from film to film. Really excited for this, and I'm really excited to possibly see his costumes change throughout the show, right? All right, what's up next? We got Bucky, Winter Soldier. I mean, just classic. You know, probably another upgrade on the arm with probably some of that Wakanda tech that we saw, them working on when they gave him his replacement. I don't know if I'm personally liking the haircut. You know, I liked him with the shag going on there, but that's all good. And moving on, who's next? All right,
this is where it gets interesting. I like these. Yep. These next two reveals are beautiful. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. Look at this. Okay, so we got John Walker's U.S. agent. So I'm looking at this I'm like, man, that's not Captain America. That's not Steve Rogers. That's not Chris Evans. Boo. But we all know what's going on. We know that they're saying somebody needs to take the place of Captain America. So here comes John Walker. And I think they did an amazing job with the look here. It's sleek, but fresh. Like, we went through so many different Cap suits Some of the early ones were like, but then it got really nice. So this is nice and new. So I'm happy. I'm really anxious to see what this looks like, with the guys in action on screen. And then the shield behind the guy, right? So
that's an interesting little because I mean, if you look at the other guys, they have, I guess, their logos, right? Or you got Bucky's star on his arm, but this is the Captain America shield. So it could follow along in the comics where, the U.S. agent he wasn't U.S. agent, he becomes Captain America. So I'm so excited to see what they do with this character. I really enjoy this character. He is a loose cannon and he is fun. Anyway, sorry, I'm totally taking over your segment. Yeah. What's next, Chris?
No, well, we got one more. The man, Baron Zemo. I love it. I dig it. Look, I this just goes to show to me that, and I know it's simple, but I'm going to say it. Marvel doesn't need to overkill, dude. Put the guy in a coat, put the mask on him, call it a day. It's Baron Zemo.
Yeah, it's the mask that does it. It is just so simple. I cannot wait to see. I mean, this series is going to be amazing. And Chris, there's going to be a Super Bowl commercial this Sunday when we have the Super Bowl. So that's super exciting to see. So we're going to see more footage. We'll get some more kind of hints and tidbits, and they may throw us in another direction and then totally surprise us when we're watching. But it is super exciting indeed. And I was so happy to see those official costume releases. But you're right, Chris. There may be another costume. There may be another costume for Falcon. And I would put money on it, to be honest. Absolutely. All right, but moving on. More MCU news. We reported last week that Thor began filming. Super excited. I got to tell you guys, it's so simple looking, but I never get sick of this logo. This Thor Love and Thunder logo. Taika Waititi is just bringing the kind of cheese, right? But cheese in a good way, just that kind of just craziness. So anyways, they started filming, and we got some really interesting set pics. As you can see right here, this is from Daily Mail. The Daily Mail got these set pics. You see Thor and Star-Lord right there, Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt in their uniforms. We'll get back to this in a sec, but that's an interesting look for Thor. And, there's a lot of theories going on out there as to what that is. We'll see. But if you look closely at Thor, you can see a little Stormbreaker action there. That is super exciting. But it doesn't stop with Thor and Star-Lord, because we also have other Guardians. We got Kraglin. And if you look closely on Kraglin's head there, that is a piece that is similar to what Yondu had in terms of, being able to there you go. Control the. Can you do that again, Chris? That's perfect. It's really good. But yeah, so I would expect him to be in action with that arrow right there, doing exactly what Chris did. But it doesn't stop with Kraglin, right? Because we got a little Nebula action as well. She is on the set. This is just Chris, man. It's the Asgardians of the Galaxy, and it's going to be so exciting. But let's get back to that look, right? That Thor look, right? That jacket, right? I mean, it's so easy to tie this look into Thunderstrike. Thunderstrike was another version of Thor in the 90s. Basically, Eric Masterson became Thor and then ended up becoming Thunderstrike. So it's total 90s character, total cheese, which I absolutely love.
It's not Thunderstrike, it's Point Break.
Oh, here we go. Chris
Break.
Explain this to me in rehearsal. Explain it to everybody else because I had trouble following.
Show it one more time. That's Point Break. So when Tony meets Thor for the first time, he's like, "All right, Point Break," reference to the early '90s Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze movie.
It sucks that you had to explain it to me. I should have gotten it, but that is a very good point. Anyways, Thunderstrike. So if you guys are interested, these books are heating up. I wouldn't put too much stock into it because I don't think we're going to see Thunderstrike in this film. I could be wrong, but if you are interested, you got Hulk 391. That's the first appearance of Eric Masterson. Thor 391, the first appearance of Eric Masterson. Thor 408 is the first time Eric Masterson becomes Thor. And then in Thor 359, he becomes Thunderstrike. So if you're interested, check those out. If you can find them in the dollar bins, may be worth the pickup. But I would not put too much stock in these. I love these books, however. I collected these books back in the day. Ron Friends, I loved his artwork. So reminiscent of Jack Kirby. But, Chris, speaking of Jack Kirby, we have something influenced by Jack Kirby in our next story. What's that?
Yeah, and before I get into that, I just want to give a big shout out to Tricky Clicky, saying that he just ordered the State of Comics Neil Adams Joker #1 variant. So appreciate that support, helping out our good friend Ryan in State of Comics, man. That's so awesome. So awesome indeed. All right.
It's awesome. Next story.
Yes. All right. So, guys, for all my Black Panther fans out there, and what better time to announce this, being it is February, Black History Month. We got some more Wakanda news, but not only in terms of the fictional Wakanda storytelling. This is big for fellow Oakland native, Oakland represent, born in Oakland, Ryan Coogler, getting a new 5-year extended contract deal with Disney. And with this news, we get a reported Disney Plus series that's going to be focusing on the Kingdom of Wakanda. So awesome. I'm extremely excited for this. With this being made public, Disney's executive chair, Bob Iger, had this to say about Coogler in the franchise. Ryan Coogler is a singular storyteller whose vision and range have made him one of the standout filmmakers of his generation. With Black Panther, Ryan brought a groundbreaking story and iconic characters to life in a real, meaningful, and memorable way, creating a watershed cultural movement. I agree. We are thrilled to strengthen our relationship and look forward to telling more great stories with Ryan and his team. Boy, I mean, perfectly said. And I absolutely agree with that statement and the sentiment. I can't watch to see Ryan continue to build. Unfortunately, it's still heartbreaking to know that Chadwick is not going to be around for this, but his spirit will be there in all this. We know that Ryan is continuing to work on Black Panther 2. We have so much more World of Wakanda to explore in this series now. I am so excited for this.
Yeah, and speaking of World of Wakanda, this issue has heated up recently. Everybody searched actually for, I think it's a 6-issue run. It was canceled after the 6th issue, but yeah, man, I'm excited too to have them build out more of Wakanda, more story in Wakanda. We know we have Black Panther 2 coming. I'm sure they're going to integrate Wakanda in some capacity in some other films that are coming up. This is exciting, and it's just another series that we get to look forward to, especially one, that is Ryan Coogler running the show. It's just going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So, anyways. That's another thing to be excited about the MCU, guys. It's going to be hard to keep track after a while. Anyway, but speaking of kind of exciting in the DC world, right? I mean, this is kind of exciting. Zack Snyder teases Martian Manhunter in a quote on a tweet here. This is an image of Cyborg, which is kind of badass, to be honest with you. He's got the full kind of cyborg mask on with that red eye shooting out. He's flying through some sort of a tunnel. There's a war coming. That's a quote from Martian Manhunter. I guess that'll be happening in the film. So look, man, March is going to be a huge month, everybody, because we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well as Zack Snyder's Justice League. So big month there too. Am I missing something else, Chris? There has to be something else. Am I right?
Oh man, you would think, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Wasn't there? Yeah. I feel like there was one more thing that was overlapping all this, but
honestly, we need to have a list on the side, because anytime we reference these new shows or films or whatever, I get so confused with the dates, so I can't think past May. So, Anyways, it's still going to be a big month because WandaVision ends the first week of March, and then 2 weeks later is when Falcon and the Winter Soldier kick out, and then a day before that is Justice League.
Justice League. Nice.
All right, we got that. We got it. All right, here we go.
I'm with it.
That's not the only Justice League news we have. Am I right, Chris?
Yeah. That's exciting, but I'm really more excited about this tease. Zack Snyder went to his Vero account and posted a picture of the Joker that we're gonna see in the Snyder cut. Look at this. As fans question if Jared Leto would return, we now question if this take is kind of really straying from that David Ayers take in Suicide Squad film, which ultimately I found to be an unbearable take on a coked out wannabe pimp in white face paint. Yeah, I said it. I'm sorry. Wasn't a fan. But this photo tease does give fans remnants of Heath Ledger's Joker from the Dark Knight film, which he won posthumous Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for after his sudden death. Obviously, Snyder seemed to hint at making these changes to the character in a recent interview by stating, quote, I wanted to, of course, honor what had been created with him because I thought it was really cool, but also in Justice League, I'm not going to tell you what happens in the little scene, but some water has gone under the proverbial bridge between when we saw the Joker last and this appearance. So he's made some, let's just say he's a road-weary Joker. I guess that's a way of saying it, end quote. So you could see Zach maybe biting his tongue a little bit there, being like, yeah, but look, I'm sorry. I have no problem with Jared pulling this character off. I just don't like the way he was written for Suicide Squad. I didn't like that film altogether. Again, I couldn't take him seriously. The overdone tattoos and the grill. Like I said, I just saw him as this wannabe coked out pimp that was just trying to be relevant, and it just didn't. So I really hope they can, because I think they got the acting chops there. I just think the character needs to be properly written.
We'll see, man. Honestly, again, DC's got to prove it to us before we can kind of have faith in them. I'm sorry. We say it every week. We are not DC haters. We want DC to succeed. They just, in our eyes, if you're looking at the overall tally here, they have a losing record. Sorry. And I don't want to insult any of you DC lovers. We get it. We love DC characters ourselves. It's our opinion, and it's just sad. Before we move on to the next story, let's just say hello to some people. We got Dan De La Torre saying hello to Matt Stadhar. We got, Dan, by the way, is from Oakland, so he's representing as well. Planet Arizona Comics, what's up? I saw Azores Tiger in here. I know Tom is here. Azores Tiger is somewhere here. We got a lot of people. And thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Anyways, but moving on, because we have one more story here, and it is WandaVision. Somebody asked, are we going to get to WandaVision? Yeah, we're going to talk about WandaVision, but here's the deal. We're not going to talk about WandaVision until the Q&A of this show, because for all of those who have not seen it, and I think Bishner has not seen the latest episode of WandaVision, we do not want to spoil it. But holy, my God, that episode is outstanding. I hope Swagglehaus saw it as well, so he can join in. Anyways, but we can talk a little something about WandaVision right now. And last week, after our show, Marvel revealed a new WandaVision poster. That's right. Complete contrast to the first happy suburban poster we saw of Wanda and Vision just standing there and smiling. This is a complete departure from that. As you guys can see here, you have new characters, you have some drama. Look at their eyes. I mean, look at Vision's eyes. Like, he looks like he's about to get punched in the face by somebody. So, you got Monica Rambeau, you got Darcy, you got all, Jimmy Woo, all these people back here. It's a good-looking poster. It doesn't really allude to much, but some people are speculating here, Chris. They are speculating there's something going on with this poster. And as you can see with this red circle image right here, people love red circles on YouTube. This red circle image here, it's a little kind of like a sinister kind of, I mean, from afar it looks like it's some floral pattern, but you zoom in, there's a devil-like face next to Agnes, right? So Agnes, she always is mentioning her husband Ralph, all about Ralph. She's got many comments about Ralph. We've never seen Ralph, but people are thinking that Ralph could be Mephisto, because Mephisto has used the alias of Ralph in the comics in the past. Chris, I find that interesting. That's an interesting theory, and I could buy that. But there's so much going on right now, and they're throwing things all over in different directions, and it is just like, whoa, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you got to take it with a grain of salt, but it's one of those situations where so much is out there that some of it has to be true, right? I keep seeing after every episode that there's so many different theories around the same thing. So, look, I've already been talking about Mephisto. I've been talking about Mephisto for probably over a year now before we even got any hint at WandaVision. If this little image is something that is to hint at Mephisto, I mean, it's a stretch, but you never know with Marvel. I mean, I can look at that and I can say that kind of looks like Loki as well. And maybe he has his little thing on with the, I mean, you know, but I don't know. If Marvel put that in there on purpose, then sure, why not? I'm just at a point right now where I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to be excited and surprised, even if I'm not surprised. But it's going to be amazing when it all happens, no matter which way it goes. I just know it. I'm just confident. If it's Mephisto, fine. If it's Magneto, if it's nobody, if it's I'm in for the ride and I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying every second of it too. But I love the fact that they got us combing through every little detail of every little thing, and it's just like that makes this a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And it's going to be so gratifying for the people who have either bought into theories or come up with their own theories and they wind up being the case. So really happy to see that. Now, here's the deal. Chris Olsen, I appreciate not talking about WandaVision until the end. I didn't get to see the episode yet this week. That should go for everybody else in the chat. Let's not spoil it for everybody. We'll have a fun discussion at the end here with Swagglehaus. Hopefully he's seen it. If not, he may have to drop off too. Anyways, Chris, that's our news of the week right now, you know, and I thought that was a really good news week.
Yeah. Again, exciting stuff. And look, like we continue to say about DC, I'm just happy that we're getting these looks into the Snyder Cut, and I'm happy that we're just over a month away because I finally want this to be here, and I want to. Ironically, I've had my issues with Zack Snyder, but I really want. How ironic would it be for Zack Snyder to kind of kick it back in gear and make us, like you say, validated again, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
It's just, but it's Chris and I have been preaching this, like, you know, the floodgates will open and all this content's going to come out, and it's happening right now. And like literally before the show started, I was like, oh, Chris, wait, Falcon and Winter Soldier it's next month. So super exciting stuff. Anyways, you know what else is exciting? Fellow content creators on YouTube. They are exciting. We love bringing different creators on each and every week. This week is no different. He is our special guest co-host this week. His name is Mickey, but you can call him Swagglehaus. Hello, Swagglehaus. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
You know, clap track here.
Hey, clap it up for you guys. Clap it up for you guys.
We built it up. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Mickey's Swagglehaus, his link is below. Please subscribe to his channel. He does a lot of cool things. He breaks down in the simplest form what you should be looking at in books, why you should be, you know, a variety of topics, and especially people who are just getting back into the hobby. I think he breaks it down and really kind of explains things really well. But that being said, we want to tell us about your channel, why you created it, and how it came to be.
Yeah, well, thank you for that setup. You know, for me, it's just I'm somebody who just loves, you know, the comic books and comic book hobby, and I just kind of speak to what I know generally about, you know, things. So, you know, I don't pretend to be the guru when it comes to comic book content. I just kind of talk about things that I enjoy within the hobby, and yeah, just try to throw out info to other people who like it. And you know, for me, I don't have many. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have many people in my, you know, real life that I talk comic books a lot with. So you know, the impetus for my channel mostly was to just, you know, not have to have my wife, you know, roll her eyes every time I want to show her my comic books. It was like to be able to create a community and you know, like this experience right here, like getting a chance to come on a channel like your guys's and interact with people who love comic books and talk about it. So, you know, thank you so much for having me on the show. And, you know, you guys do an amazing job. I think, you know, as a viewer of your guys's weekly show, I think I speak for, you know, the other people who might be in the chat, but I really appreciate, you know, the work you guys put in, like how informative it is. I like the, you know, it feels very genuine, the way that you guys talk about this, you know, the comic book industry and hobby. And I like that, you know, you guys, generally speaking, like you give off a very like positive, you know, like vibe, you know, which I think is really good for the whole community as a whole, because you guys have alluded to before, there can be, you know, a lot of elitism in our hobby. And I feel like you guys kind of stray away from that stuff. And that's something that really resonates with me. So I appreciate that.
We appreciate that feedback to us. We really do. We
Absolutely.
try and do that every week and be as inclusive as possible and just have a good time, man. Just have a good time. And I know you got your little at Swagglehaus Comics there, but I just want to bring it up a bit larger because please follow Mickey on at Swagglehaus Comics on the Instagram as well. But again, sub to him down below. You will not regret it. He puts out great content. All right. Now that you're with us, we're going to continue on with the show. Like we do each and every week, this is a really fun segment, right? We call this, each and every week, we like to show off the fresh picks we get, whether they be in the mail, right? Whether they be at our local comic book shop, whether they be brand new issues, whether they be back issues. We are looking for the fresh from the comic shop, all your fresh picks from each and every week. And I'm glad that we have Swagglehaus here. Each of us will show off 5 books, but we want you guys in the comments to tell us what you got. And we want you guys to tag us in Instagram and tell us what you got. I have to say, I'm a little bit disappointed in everybody here because we had one entry, guys. One entry from our audience showing off what they got. And we're going to start first because he's a regular viewer and we love him. He drinks
but this entry was golden, I must say.
You're biased, man. You are biased. I don't know about that. Swagglehaus, I don't know if you know what we got coming up, but this is Bishner. He's a regular viewer, and he just had to show this off, and I know he's just smiling, thinking about what Chris thought. It's a Warlock watch number 1, a 9.8. Well done, Bishner. Thank you for participating in Fresh from the Comic Shop. Guys, it's that easy. Just tag us, and we'll show your fresh gets each and every week. Just do it. But tell us in the comments what you guys picked up to. We'll try and track those as we go through and talk about these things. So, Mickey, since you are our guest, you get to go first. So we're going to bring you up full screen. You're going to tell us what you got and any other information you want to share with us.
All right, very cool. So this one I picked up. I'm not someone who is a reader of Transformers comic books, but when I found out that they were making a Beast Wars comic book, high school Mickey couldn't pass this one up. He had to, cash in full nostalgia. So I picked up Transformers Beast Wars #1, and I am so excited I got this book. This was like nostalgia overload. Like, I read it right away, and I immediately had to go down like a YouTube wormhole of watching old episodes and intro credits and everything like that, because I love this cartoon from back in the day, as campy as it was, but had to pick it up. I'm super excited that they decided to make a series for it.
How dare you call Transformers campy? Take it back.
I take it back. Okay, let me just say that the graphics at the time were amazing, but when you look back, they're definitely a little bit dated.
Fair, but I mean, as you're alluding to, you have a fondness very close to your heart when it comes to Transformers. As do I. On the Transformers tip, I do want to say, my daughter, she's getting into comic books and all of this kind of, all of these characters and stuff. But there's a My Little Pony Transformers crossover she loves. She loves it.
I saw that. I saw that on the rack. That looked super, like what a weird mashup, but very, very cool, I guess. Yeah,
it's French. It's called Friendships in Disguise, and they're coming out with the 2nd series. Anyways, I want to say hi to Kaya B. Hello, Kaya B. Thank you for joining us. But next, we're gonna go with Chris. Chris is and again, guys, put in the comments what you guys picked up this week. I don't see a lot of people telling us what they got. But Chris, your turn. What do you got?
Well,
fresh from the comic shop.
Maybe redundant at this point, but I put my pre-order in for this book, and I finally got it, and I'm just glad. I'm looking at it, and it's so beautiful. I got this from State of Comics. Again, big shout out to State of Comics. And that is Lee Amazing Spider-Man number 55. Beautiful nice. 2nd print with the red cover. So, I did get my 1st print in my mail subscription. I picked this one up, and I don't know. You know what? I'll tell you what I might do with this. I might send this book off to EGS, Expert Grading Service, because they do those custom labels. And now that I'm thinking about it, one of those custom labels would look amazing on this black and red book. So
here's a thought. That's a great pickup, by the way. It's a beautiful cover, but they got the 3rd printing. Have you guys seen what the 3rd printing looks like?
Yeah, the kind of bluish. Yeah. I'm waiting for a green one, man. They need to do a green one.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, I love green. That's my favorite color.
You know what I do know? Pete Keel shared with us what he got. He got a G.I. Joe 21 CGC 9.0. I guess he cracked it and pressed it, and it should come back a 9.4 or a 9.6. That is good stuff. Anybody else? Anybody else? What else? Oh, B. Schnurr. I also got a 9.8 Spider-Man Torment Silver from a mystery box. I saw you post that, man. That is a beautiful one. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? Real quick, before I get into my first book I'm going to share. I think Tom Tormey got an Avengers Mech Strike. I don't know. That's good stuff, man. I thought you were a DC guy, though. Good stuff. All right, guys. I'm going to preface this now. All my books are new from this past week. Usually I like to throw in some old, especially the dollar bin books that I find, and I'm like, holy cat, I can't believe I found this. But I don't have any of those this week. So I'm just prefacing it with the new books I got. So here we go. My first, fresh from the comic shop, guys. I love this series, even though I've only read the first 2 issues, and now it's on issue 8. I really got to catch up, but I love this cover. Strange Academy. Number 8. Look at that cover. I am absolutely loving. I'm loving all the covers for this series. They do a fantastic job, especially a lot of the variants they got going on. But I'm into the series. I know it's hot. We all know it's probably going to turn up either on a screen or a movie theater somewhere. But it's it's a fun series with new characters, and you can't ask for anything more when it comes to that. So that is my pickup right there. My first pickup I'm sharing with y'all fresh from the comic shop. So Mickey, it's your turn, man.
All right. I know that the segment is called Fresh from the Comic Shop, and this one isn't that fresh in terms of its release, but it was, for me, fresh from the comic shop.
That's what it's about. That's what Fresh from the Comic Shop is about.
I actually managed to find a Last Ronin, which I never, I missed the boat with this one. Like, I don't have a pull list. I didn't do pre-orders and things like that. And it definitely made me change my mind about how I should start doing them in the future. But I missed the boat on this one, and I thought that it would just be one. Okay, just let it ride. But I went into my comic shop, and they actually happened to have a handful of copies of this, and they were actually selling it at cover price because there was handling issues with these ones. And you can see down here, right there, just a tiny little nick in the corner. So for that reason, they sold it at cover price. But hey, I just wanted to read the story. So I was happy to pick it up. And for cover price for Last Ronin, this many weeks.
I think
I feel like I got to do it.
I think you win there. By the way, Kaya B picked up Amazing Spider-Man 797, 798. She also, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you are, but 799 and 800 as well. That's the Red Goblin series, so that's a good pickup, Kaya. Gary Woods got my pre-order that second print Amazing Spider-Man this week. Let's see, anything else? Oh, somebody Tricky Clicky wants a hot pink webhead.
I feel like they're gonna do all the colors.
Right.
I mean, it's gonna get old. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Moving on. So we have Chris, you're up.
Well, I showed you my first pick. Should I do it for my second pick?
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
No.
All right. Let's do something that I've been reading my Amazing Spider-Man 2. We'll do some more Spider-Man action, but I actually am kind of digging what's going on here in this run, and that's Symbiote Spider-Man. This is number 3.
I love that.
I haven't read this yet. I just read 1 and 2, but I like what Peter David's doing so far. So basically, this is a storyline that takes place in the 80s, like right around when Peter was wearing the symbiote before he ripped it off and created Venom. So it's basically, I don't know if you would use the term retcon, but it's basically going back and showing you or telling you a story how Noel was always there. So I'll just kind of leave it at that so I don't give too much away for those that want to read it. What I find interesting about it too is I do believe this was the series that got the Mr. E hype on that Marvel Spotlight book that was like a dollar bin book that just shot through the roof.
It wasn't.
So yeah, I'm really interested in seeing where it goes. I'm telling you, Peter David is capturing the tone, the tone, which I'm kind of, and not to go too deep into this, but being such a Spider-Man fan, I got to kind of rant. I appreciated Nick Spencer coming on to Amazing Spider-Man. I felt like they saw the wrongs that Dan Slott did for so long and they were going to fix it. But then it just like lingered and lingered and lingered. And now it's like, I don't know what's going on. And like the tone is just lost again. And so when I started reading this, I was like, oh, there it is. There it is. So
Peter David's awesome.
Yeah.
Really good run. I just hope what I'm just kind of being skeptical. I hope they don't kind of like retcon too much where it just becomes so, this null stuff becomes too redundant with what had happened in the past. But I'm good so far.
No, that cover's awesome. That Captain, that's the first Captain Marvel I was introduced to. Like, that was her. That's how I knew Captain Marvel. But I love that cover. So that's a good pickup, Chris. All right, guys. So I'm sure a ton of you guys have this one here. This is it started off amazing for the first 20 issues. The next 10 are like, nah. It's coming back. It's picking up now because of King in Black, but I haven't read this one yet. I read the last, but this is Venom 33. I actually prefer the other cover B, over this one. I don't know. I should have just switched it up, but I'm enjoying King in Black and Venom. I'm not collecting any of the tie-ins at all. I think it's just getting a little crazy with how many tie-ins are there. So yeah, this is my second pick from Fresh from the Comic Shop. All right. Charlie Kirkland, hey, is Captain Marvel a dude? The first Captain Marvel was a dude, but Monica Rambeau became Captain Marvel as well. So it's kind of there's a lot of Captain Marvels. Planet Arizona Comics. I got that Immortal Hulk that's been recalled. Do you guys know about this?
No, I don't know about it.
There is. I haven't seen it, but there is. There's a panel in there, and it says jewelry instead of jewelry. There's a shop. It says jewelry. Jewery, and there's like I think a Star David. So a lot of people are saying that's that's too much of a coincidence that
right.
It's anti-Semitic. So I'm not sure. They're recalling it now. I would not want that. I would not want that to be a kind of a spec book and get hot because of that reason. That's disgusting. Not saying Planet Arizona picked it up because of that. I'm sure, as most people picked it up, didn't even realize it until they read somewhere that it was what it was. But that's an interesting. It's an interesting book. It's going to be interesting to see the fallout, what happens there. All right, so Mickey, third pick. What'd you get? Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Third pick. I don't know if Sith Lordly is in the chat, but I had to get a Star Wars book, right? So everybody's reading High Republic. Everybody loves this stuff, so I had to get Star Wars High Republic #2. It's a great read. It's definitely something that's super, super fun. I didn't realize that, I actually really appreciated on the inside that they kind of break down like, oh, here's all the, eras as they relate to each other. Because I know a little bit about the Star Wars lore, but not too much. So it's good to know kind of what the context is here. And I didn't even realize, because I hadn't read the first one until I got this one, but I didn't really realize that Yoda was a character who was like in the mix with this. So
wow, yeah.
I was definitely excited to see that.
I'm liking what they're going to be doing with this. It's so exciting. It's bringing, it's completely out of the Skywalker trilogy, the Skywalker lore, right? And it's got a fresh start. You can do whatever you want with it, and you're not tied down by a lot of things. And I'm super excited about it, and I'm super excited to see how they're going to adapt some of that in the Acolyte on the Disney Plus series for Star Wars. That's pretty sweet. All right, so Dan De La Torre, he also got a Tales to Astonish 82 CGC 7.0 white pages. So Mariner versus Iron Man. Is that the first time because that's a classic one, I do believe, Dan. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, Christopher, you are up.
Well, great minds do think alike. So, Mickey, I'm going to follow your lead because I, too, picked up Star Wars, The High Republic,
nice.
#2. I just think, for us to both show this book off, I just think it goes to show that there is just so much love right now going on for Star Wars. And look, there's the hype around it, but I want to read it too. I've always been a big Star Wars head, and I want to, like you were saying, Jeff, I really want to dive into this and see what they're doing, outside, the norm and these new takes. Now, I swear I ordered my issue 1 via previews, but I guess I didn't. But I did order, and then I thought I ordered the second print, but I guess I didn't. I don't know, but I ordered the third print of issue 1. So when I get that, I am gonna read it, and then I'll be able to start reading it because I haven't read anything yet, but I absolutely want to.
That's interesting because I have to say, guys, that's the first time we've ever had fresh from the comic shop, where we've had the same issue picked, right, by 2 people. But guys, let's make it 3.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Make it 3, right? And I gotta say, I'm enjoying this. I've read both issues, issue 1, issue 2. This dude Skier has got some depth to him. There's something interesting about this dude. Keep an eye on him. I really, really enjoy it. I'm psyched you guys got it too. I'm excited to hear what you guys think about it when you do read it. Oh, you read it, right? Right, Mickey?
I did read it, and I actually, it is really cool how, in the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, it's like, all the lore is based on like this era, this like, Jedis are a bygone era, it's like everything is kind of like, there's only one left. And here in this era was kind of cool. It's just cool to see that's like, there's a dime a dozen, or like Jedis are all over the place. So that's really interesting territory to like explore, which is really fun.
I'm really psyched, and I'm excited to see it go on other screens as well. Before we get your next one, Mickey, we got Matt Stadahar. Picked up Maniac of New York 1 and Haha 1. Now, Maniac of New York 1, I cannot remember what publisher that is, but that's definitely an interesting book. I have one coming on the way. It's getting mailed to me. Haha 1 was, geez, man, that's a hot book. So good on you for picking those up. All right. And Dan, we really appreciate you kind of including us in the great minds. I'm assuming that you have number 2 as well. So, all right, here we go. Mickey, you're next, man.
All right. Well, Jeff, I know that you always bring some good dollar bin, books. So coming into this week's episode, knowing that I was going to be on the show, I figured, all right, let me get into these dollar bins and see if I can find anything good. And I think I found something pretty awesome. And this ties to what you guys were talking about earlier with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I managed to find a very well-read copy of Captain America 323, which is the first appearance of John Walker, who I believe Wyatt Russell is the name of the actor who's playing him.
I think so, yeah.
But I managed to find this book. It is definitely well read. Maybe it presents better than it feels. I think that there's some like warping going on. Maybe there's some water damage with this one. But for $1, I feel like how could I not grab this one? So pretty cool find in a dollar bin. And you never know when you dig in the bins.
Not only is it great because it's the first appearance of John Walker, but it's got the 25th anniversary.
That's true.
Cover to, oh man, I love those. So that's a great pickup for $1, especially, man. Even though it may be warm, but it's still, honestly, that's a great issue to pick up. All right, Chris, what do you got?
All right, well, I'm going to carry on a theme here. Another run that I absolutely want to start reading. And I'm really interested in seeing how this might tie in to the grander Marvel scheme of things. And that's Star Wars High Republic Adventures, number 1. So, I really like what IDW has been doing with their licensed properties. So far, they've done the Marvel actions with the Marvel superheroes, with the Star Wars stuff going on now with the adventure stuff. So my son loves all their, licensed property stuff. And I want to really get into this and just to see, because like you said, there's so much to be done here with Star Wars. They're just getting started. And, like I said, I haven't even read the High Republic. So, I haven't read anything to even try to speculate on if there's gonna be some type of crossover, or we're gonna see some of similar characters or just storylines that start painting this bigger picture.
Yeah, right. I think it's interesting. I'm like, do you know, like, because Marvel's doing one and IDW is doing the other, but they're all connected, right?
Yes. So Marvel is overseeing what IDW does. IDW's they tend to, with the Star Wars, they tend to go skew younger to a younger audience.
Right.
So it's interesting, but I mean, first let me get to my book real quick, and we'll get into that in a sec, because I have to say, not even kidding. Like, that's my fourth book as well. And guys, I read this. This does not feel like it skews younger. And there's so many first appearances. If you can find this book, I would suggest getting it. Not only one copy, but a couple copies. And I'm surprised to say, B. Schnur, that you did not find. I'm surprised to hear that you did not find a copy. I feel like they were abundant where I am. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's the case now, but the issue 1 sold that people were just having trouble finding any copy of that, let alone the Hans variant and all the other variants. So this one right here, I feel like you'll still be able to walk into a shop and find it. I don't know how many shops are around you though.
Yeah, I definitely noticed when I went to my LCS, like there was a lot of people lining up, and I felt like even though everybody was picking up those 2 Star Wars books, like it felt like the stores knew to order a lot of copies for this one. So yeah, I think you could probably find it in an LCS if you can. Maybe not the one that you went to, but maybe there's another one.
I would definitely keep at it. I want to honestly, Matt, can you please phonetically spell your last name? I butcher it all the time. And Kaya, I apologize to you as well. I just want to say that, throw it out there. All right, so here we go. Who's up? It's Mickey already. Man, this is going by quick, isn't it?
You're just going around the horn.
All right, here we go.
This one is one that, if you've watched videos that I've made before, I always talk about how I love B tier villains, I was the guy who, when I watched like wrestling growing up, I would like root for like Rick the Motto Martel and characters like that. I don't know why. There's just something funny about it. So I found a copy. This is the second time I found this copy, but this is a shout out to Dan, who I know is watching right now. I got Defenders number 18. And what is the significance of this? This is the first appearance of a B villain team known as the Wrecking Crew. And they're like the jobbers when it comes to like Avengers bad guys. Like these guys, they always get put up against heroes, but they always get, wrecked. They call them the Wrecking Crew. Not for that reason. No pun intended. But I had to pick this book up. I love, the mustache twirling bad guys. So anytime I come across a book that has a first appearance of a B tier villain, I got to pick it up. So this is the one I got.
Fantastic. That's a good pickup. That's got to be a 70s book, right? It's got to be from the 70s.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a Bronze Age. Yeah.
That's a good pickup. All right. That was your last book. This went quick. This was very fun having you in this. Now, Chris, we got Chris and then my last pick as well. Chris, what do you got?
All right. So, might surprise some of you guys here. We've said this before. Sometimes when you hit up the comic shop.
No. God.
Sometimes when you're hitting the comic shop up, there's other things in the comic shop. Obviously, I had to show off my Transformer Back to the Future mashup a couple weeks back. Nothing big and crazy here, but just a little different, guys.
All right. I thought you were going somewhere else. I'm sorry.
Nah, what is this? It's a book with no pictures in it. Let's get close. Let's do. Yeah, so this is Star Wars: The Mandalorian Armor, The Bounty Hunter's War, Book 1. And look, just with everything going on with the Mandalorians and Boba, like I saw this and I said, you know what? I'm going to pick that up and I want to read it. I haven't hit a little side drop here. I just graduated school about a year and a half ago now. I was in school for 5 years, getting my bachelor's degree, and I spent years reading textbooks that are this big, right? And and I am one of those that actually read the textbooks and highlighted stuff and took notes. I didn't just find clip notes, all right? I love reading novels, and I just got away from it. I got away from reading comics during that time too. So thankfully, over the last year or so, I've been able to read more comics, but it's about time. I was burnt out, but now I want to get back into reading a novel. I recommend that you all, as much as I recommend keep up with the comics and keep reading comics, once in a while, pick up a good book that sparks your imagination.
That's honestly, that was a good call. And I'm glad you did something a little different there. I do want to, well, first off, what's up, One Shot Comics? How are you? And also, he gives you props. That trilogy is great. I think the book that you picked up there. All right. This is your last chance, everybody in the chat here. Tell us what you got fresh from the comic shop. Don't forget to send us, tag us on Instagram next week so we can show yours just like we showed B. Schnurz. Anyways, this is my last pickup, guys. Fresh from the comic shop, okay? I absolutely love this series. I love this series. It was one of my favorites of last year. I have not read this issue yet. I've been very busy this week, guys. Get off my back. Firepower number 8. Look at that cover, Chris Samnee. Oh my goodness. I absolutely love this series. If you guys are not reading this series, you're missing out. It's Robert Kirkman, Chris Samnee. It's such a good book. It's got a lot of kung fu mystic stuff, not too much mystic stuff, but man, it's so much fun. The thing I love about this cover is it's all black here, and it just is smooth. I just like when you get a black cover and it's just smooth. Nice. There's no no nicks, spine ticks, or anything else involved. You know what I mean? So that is it. I'm so psyched about. Like, I got excited because I forgot it came out this week, and when I saw, I was like, oh, at my comic shop, they post on Instagram. I'm like, oh yeah, Firepower comes out this week. I am super pumped about that. Again, guys, let's see. What did you pick up? One Shot Comics picked up Something is Killing the Children trade, Volume 1 today.
Nice.
That's a good.
I gotta pick that up.
Everybody is
I got that one too for my son.
Planet Arizona. Ooh, thanks, Jeff. I always forget about the Instagram thing. Yeah, hit us up, Planet Arizona Comics. Tell us what you got, and we'll put it up. Like, it's this easy, guys. It's this easy. Watch. B. Schnurr sent his in. We post it. Okay? It's that easy. We did that a little bit earlier. But
I would have sent mine in, but I figured I probably shouldn't do it because I'm on the show.
No need for you. By the way, Mickey, you are getting some props in the chat here. Let's see if I can find that comment, because I think it was Dan De La Torre.
I sucked up to him by showing a Defenders book, though.
He's like, you gotta have. He did say you gotta have Swagglehaus as a regular returning guest, and then immediately after that, he says Defenders are so underrated. So I think those two things are related.
Yeah. I'll just know that if I ever get a chance to come back on, I'll be sure to always think about bringing a Defenders book for Dan.
Absolutely, Dan would be very
five
happy.
copies every time.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The show's not over, guys. We still got plenty of show left, and we're still going to have some fun. Everybody chatting, hanging out, talking comics. But each and every week, I'm not sure if you know this, Mickey, but we have a guy by the name of Tom Tormey. He produces a segment for us each and every week called The Cosmic Minute. That's right. Tom has an Instagram handle that you all should be following. It's called Cosmic Comic History. Each and every day, he has a juicy nugget of comic book history. It's one of my favorite things to look at. First thing in the morning, I open up Instagram, and I see what Tom is posting, and it is something that's always fascinating. And most of the time, it's like, wow, I had no idea. Comic book history at its best. Tom Tormey is at his best in this video we have coming up as well, where he talks about the Flash in the Marvel Universe. Are you confused, guys? I was. This is fantastic. Watch.
Hi everybody, I'm Tom from Cosmic Comic History, and this is your Cosmic Minute. And today we're talking about how the fastest man alive ended up inside the pages of the Marvel Universe. In 1985's Crisis on Infinite Earths, issue 12, Barry Allen makes the ultimate sacrifice. The Flash dies, the universe is saved, Wally West becomes the new Flash, and Barry was dead. Or was he? 5 years later, in the pages of Marvel's Quasar series, a disoriented yellow speedster shows up in red and yellow tatters. He can't quite remember his name, but he knows it sounds something like Buried Alien. This confused speedster takes part in a race and wins and is declared the fastest man alive. Buried Alien stays around in the Marvel 616 throughout most of the 90s as a background character, adopting the name Flash Forward. A real Barry Allen wouldn't return to the pages of the DC Universe until 2009's Flash Rebirth series, but I'm still holding out for a Flash versus Fast Forward race. I'm still Tom from Cosmic Comic History, and that was your Cosmic Minute. Until next week, be well and stay safe.
Run, Barry. Run.
I love Tom Tormey, man. That was so good. I had
That's
no
awesome.
idea about it. I was on hiatus during that time, I guess, in the late 90s. Buried Alien or Alien. Did you guys know about that?
I did not know about that, but I will say, I know we're not going to talk about the show out right now, but let me allude to, hey, with what happened, talk about an interesting spec book that could maybe happen eventually.
Maybe. Wait, did you see WandaVision?
I did, yes. I
Okay,
did.
so we can talk about it after. Okay, great. Yeah. Anyways, that was fantastic. How they kind of introduced the Flash in the Marvel Universe, the 616. Really cool. Tom Tormey, you always deliver each and every week. Next week will be no different, and I cannot wait to see what you deliver. Really enjoying these segments and how they're coming about. Kayla, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a good night or day at work. Bishner, I don't know what you're talking about. We shall open the fluid gates. I'm really scared to ask. And then Serge Henderson. Hey, Dan and Chris, what is the Instagram for? I'm not sure if this is all the same as what we are at Comic Book Canon. That is our Instagram. I'll post it up right here. Serge, if you want to just check us out, follow us, and tag us for all your new picks. We'll be sure to show them on our next show next week. So anyways, that was our Cosmic Comic History. But you know what we do right now, guys? We have another fun segment that we do. We love all of our segments. We say that all the time because right now it's Kid Collector's, it's his favorite segment. I love saying that. It is the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of Cover Price's data. That's right. Cover Price comes out with a top 10 list on Monday. Our show is live on a Friday. We like to talk about that top 10 list, but Chris, he digs in the information and picks out his 3 most interesting books from that list, and we have those books this week. But first, before we get into it, we are going to go through the top 10 hottest comics of the week right here, right now. Check it out. Okay, at number 10, we had Teen Titans number 1. I think that was the first Red X appearance. That was number 1, I think, a couple weeks ago. At number 9, we have Batman 96, Jorge Jimenez design variant. Chris, you were talking a lot about inflating the market. I have a feeling that's exactly what's happening with this one right now. There's a lot of speculation saying that Clown Hunter, this is his first appearance, is the Red X. And there are people that are pumping this book up to $400. I don't know if you saw that. $400. Anyways, Amazing Spider-Man number 361 is a classic. You all should know it because it's the first appearance of Carnage. Number 7 is Captain America number 25. This makes sense because this is the first time Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. Star Wars, The High Republic number 1. This is the Hans variant. This will not go away from the top 10 list. I have to say, this is the big winner as in terms of cover. It's, for me personally, it's not my favorite. I would love to hear Mickey and Chris's opinion on that. At number 5, Love is Love. This is another interesting book. We'll get into that in a bit. At number 4 is The Electric Black number 1 variant. I did not know anything about this book until this week. At number 3 is Mystic number 15, which is another book you should not invest in. This is, they say that there's a Harry Potter cameo in here. Not the case at all, everybody. At number 2 is Star Wars, The High Republic number 1, the Phil Noto second print. This is a cool book, guys. This is the second print. It takes a page from the book, but it has a ton of first cover appearances from these Jedis. And at number 1 is the Electric Black number 1. I believe that's the regular cover. The previous Electric Black was the 1 in 10. Chris, Mickey, an interesting list this week, huh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know, Mickey.
Hey,
if you want,
I know you've been on the cover B variant of the High Republic. I do feel like the Hans variant is my favorite, but that cover B variant is right there for me as well. I mean,
I love it.
So I hear you, man. I mean, I think that cover B could have got a bit more love than it did.
The Hans is it's the clear winner. Mickey, before Chris gets into it, we want to hear what your thoughts are on this top 10 list.
Yeah, I mean, definitely some interesting books. Like I don't actually know anything about what was the number 1, and it had a number 4 as well. What is it called?
It's called The Electric Black, and
yeah,
you know what?
I don't know anything about that series, but maybe if Chris talks about it, I'm definitely going to learn a thing.
You will absolutely learn a thing in a few minutes. We promise you that.
The one that speaks to me the most as a quick story is definitely ASM 361, because when I was a young kid collecting comics for the first time, that was like the key issue that me and my brother happened to buy back in the day. So that's the one that, like, when I got back into the hobby and like opened up the box and, oh, what do I have from back in the day? That was like the first, hey, I have this book. And so that one is one that will never leave the collection. it's like, a emotional attachment to it. The first key I have. So a special place in my heart for that book.
Now, I can't see everything on your wall there because they're rather small, but is it back there? It is.
It's that one. But that one is the second print.
I can't even make it out. I can't even see, but it's okay. It's okay. You know what? How about this? I believe you, but I just want to see it. There we go. All right.
Yep.
I like how you have everything placed there. All right. Anyways, moving on. Okay. Sorry, guys. I do have to mention that Planet Arizona has 3 out of 10 of these books. Who else? And B. Schnur got the Amazing Spider-Man 361 thanks to Kid Collector. I'd love to hear about that. Love to hear how that happened. Anyways, Chris, it's time for you to dissect this list. Give us your 3 top picks, your 3 most interesting picks. Let's put it that way. 3 most interesting picks. Have at it.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, anytime we see independent books on this list, I'm always like, let's go, independents. I'm happy that they're there this week, but the reasoning why they're there is a bit, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're going to start with my number 3 pick, and I'm sharing sentiments with you, Mickey. I picked Amazing Spider-Man 361 is one to talk about. By the way, I own the second print as well with that silver background. That book has been getting hot on its own, and I love the silver background, by the way. So, but look, this is a book that's been climbing for a while. The main thing that's going on right now, though, is Venom 2. We got the official name, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. We know that Carnage is going to be in this film, and we want a trailer. We want this movie not to keep being pushed back either, but it's really pushed this book along. How far along? Well, a high CGC sale this last week hit $1,385.
No, what?
8.
Jesus.
Right? So, it's, look, I've been talking about this a lot lately in videos on my channel. The future is now, guys, and you have to take in all the other variables with what was going on with comic books in whatever era they were produced. And we know that the early 90s, we know that for some of the books, there's millions of copies out there. But the bottom line is not about print run. It's about the supply available on the market and the demand currently. And right now, it proves that people are holding on to this book while the demand continues to grow. And it's just driving this book up. And I'm happy to see it be done. And it proves that, look, anything can gain value. It doesn't matter, especially with comic books, what era it's from. This is an iconic character that is, once we get him in a film, if it continues to have the same success in that franchise, I think this younger generation is going to keep demanding this character as well.
Oh, absolutely. And especially if there's going to be a tie-in somehow, which is looking most likely to the MCU.
Yep.
Come on. Carnage is in the MCU.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Mickey, you have any additional?
Well,
considering you are an owner of one. I think I sold mine back in the day.
This one is like, Chris, you were talking about, the Copper comics and stuff and them starting to increase in value. And I feel like, to me, like ASM 300, I feel like that's like the Hulk 181 of the Copper generation. Like, I feel like that's going to be a desired book for forever, from here on out for comic book collectors. And with like ASM 361, I feel like it's kind of in the same boat. Not quite, Carnage not quite at that Venom level, but as far as like notable characters that were created in the 90s, it almost doesn't get any bigger than him. So I feel like this is one that, it's everyone's excited because we got a movie and it's definitely going to continue to go up for that. But Carnage as a character, he doesn't feel like he's going anywhere in terms of like Marvel canon,
Who else? Especially with Marvel, but who else? Deadpool brought in 1990. So, and then there was Carnage. Like, who else do you have that you can say in the same breath is Deadpool and Carnage? I think those are the two right there for at least that decade. Yeah,
that's a good point. I never thought of it like that. Pete Keel has 20 ASM 361s. That's a pretty impressive right there. And Matt picked up he picked up a 361 when he got back in the hobby for $10. That is a good
Nice find.
pickup, man. That is a nice pickup. Good for you. All right. Your second pick, Chris.
All right, number 2 on this list, and then again, like it, guys. I know I'm kind of laughing, but you know me. I still don't hate. I don't hate, but I am gonna laugh if I find it humorous. All right, so don't mind me. Number 2 on the list is Love is Love. This is the IDW book from 2016, guys. All right, so there's been an announcement that Harry Potter is going to get a live action TV series from HBO Max. Now, I don't even know if that announcement is 100% solidified. All right. But people are going crazy to find, and this is what is even crazier. I mean, Harry Potter has no ties to comic books whatsoever. I mean, you have movie characters or franchises that appear in movies and then they'll appear in comics or something. Like Harry Potter is not a character that was ever really tied into comics in any way, any form or fashion. But for some reason, this announcement has said, oh, well, is he in a comic book? Okay, here's why this book is hot. Because of that reason. There's a 1-page pinup by Jim Lee of Harry and his, fellow characters from the films that fans are calling his first appearance in comics. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what this book's about, but my take on that 1-page pinup was there's a theme here with the Love is Love. They got the rainbow flag. That theme was just brought to a 1-page pinup by Jim Lee with some notable characters to pay homage to the characters and to make the Love is Love statement, the statement that they're trying to make, right? So it's just absolutely crazy because that alone has collectors looking at this book. A high sale CGC sold at $9.8, $250. A 302 increase in online sales. Now, for perspective, it was only 13 books that sold, but that means that only 4 books sold the week before. So that obviously shows a jump. I know when you look at the percentage alone, it's like, whoa, 300%. Well, it's still only 13 books, but still, it's a large jump. And to your point, Jeff, you brought up the Mystic book. That's another one that was just like there's some character with a wand. I'm not even going to get into it because it's not on my list that people are seeking. Oh, well, there's Harry Potter in a comic book.
Don't buy it, people.
Here's what I have to say about this book. I'm not mad. I think when you get stuff like this and when you get speculators or collectors taking this type of information and almost reacting on it to where a random book that you could probably have found for $5 or less is now selling, for in a 9.8 for $250, and there's all this hype around it when there's no concrete anything there. I find it humorous because it just shows how reactionary we are. But what most people do in these situations is they start pointing a finger and calling it, it's speculators inflating the market. It's, market manipulation. This is ruining the hobby and all this stuff. But look, here's the thing. If you didn't pick this book up until now, I don't have anything to say to you because why would you even want this book, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're a diehard Harry fan and you're really clinging to the notion that this is somehow Harry Potter's first appearance in comics. All I'm trying to say is, look, this is part of the hobby. It is. And it's driving, right now, this is driving the secondary market. It's driving the success and the spotlight of independent companies. And I'm all for it. So that's why I'm saying no hate. It's all good. I just really find it funny because if it was me, I'd need a little bit more concrete something there before I really start speculating on a book like this. But hey, look, I'm going to end on this. I just really hope that whoever paid the $250 for that 9.8, I really hope they're a big Harry Potter fan. Let me just say that.
Me too. But here's the thing with this book, I'll be honest. The positive for this is the message is getting out there. Love is love because
yes.
You're right. One Shot Comics. I think the book was a benefit for the Orlando nightclub shooting a few years ago.
Oh, right.
That's getting a good message out there. Like honestly, love is love. You know, it's got the pride flag on there. I think that's fantastic because it's getting that publicity now.
Yeah.
And it may be for the wrong reasons for us as collectors, but you know what? You said it, Chris. You know, I said this is dumb. Don't buy into it. But you know what? If you want to buy into it, buy into it. But if you think that you're going to turn it around for $1,000, $2,000 in 6 months, I don't know about that. Mickey, you have anything you want to add?
You know, it's interesting because while you were talking about it, it made me like think of some things, and you know, go with me on this one. But I wonder if there's like this idea of like, because like Star Wars is, you know, obviously it's doing its franchise on Disney Plus, so okay, we're gonna have this property that goes on for years and years, and same with the MCU, and you know, we're always gonna get, you know, with Hollywood, we're always gonna get reboots, like we're always gonna have Godzilla and King Kong, and we're always gonna have, you know, some version of Transformers going to roll around and Ninja Turtles eventually, and et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like as Hollywood continues to redo franchises and we always continue to like pull from these properties, like anything that exists in comic book in terms of like pop culture character, RoboCop, Harry Potter, whatever you want to call it, like I feel like that those books are just, there's going to be people who chase them, you know, and it's going to be a thing because if it's in comics like that, and these properties are out there in pop culture, there's going to be a market that wants to chase them. So maybe that's part of why, you know, if people are identifying this as the first appearance of Harry Potter, like someone out there is thinking, hey, at some point we're going to get another Harry Potter at some point, you know, so I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. What if Harry Potter is truly introduced into like his own comic book or something like that? What then do the collectors, how then will the collectors look at this book? I personally think it's going to probably drive this book irrelevant outside a few of those people that want to argue just to argue and say, nope, that's his first appearance, you know, when it's not even in story. It has nothing to do with anything, like, you know, it's just a publicity to taking an iconic character, doing a little pinup for a publicity of a message. So I don't know. I'm wondering if that would render this null if we actually finally get some type of Harry Potter comic book series or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to have the people who are like, no, this is the first appearance, and they're going to say that this is it. And then that'll be the whole Hulk 180, 181 debate.
Oh, here we go. All right. With that being said, we're going to move on to the third and final book from the top 10 hottest comics list. Chris, what is your third choice here?
All right. So we got some more independent books, and this is number one on the list. And this is a lot more, you know, not a, you know, kind of a laughing matter here where we can kind of have a little, you know, smirk and laugh at something. This one is much more substantial, and this is the Electric Black number one. Obviously, the variant, you know, the 1 in 10 variant, and this cover A was on the list. This was the number one book. That's rare. For an independent book. This is a Scout comic that came out in 2019. So again, yeah, just like you, Jeff, I don't know much about this book. Reading like the synopsis, it seemed really interesting. And this might be one I'm going to be looking for, like maybe in a trade paperback, just to read. But the reason why this got hot was because at Scout Comics themselves announced that the comic is being optioned for an adult TV cartoon series, which I think is very unique. So, but the amount of, you know, demand that drove for this book is what was really, you know, like kind of surprising to me. 362% increase in sales. Now you got a high CGC 9.8 that sold for only $80. So I'm assuming this is still affordable. We don't have the raw values at hand still. But look, I've said this before too. Books being on this list, it's not always about them. Oh, they're jumping in price or they're hundreds or thousands of dollar books. It's just to show that people are out there paying attention, and it's a beautiful thing to notice for this hobby. Because look, I'm sure there's people that see that anytime a book is optioned, they want to go buy it to speculate on it, and maybe they're going to flip it. But I also believe there are true to heart collectors that really enjoy the different mediums and how the medium of you know, the visual arts when it comes to film and live action, TV art, really pairing and helping along the comic book genre. You know, and I hear people all the time saying, oh, the people that watch the movies, they don't read the comics and all that. And look, I'm sure there are those people out there too, but I'm going to say, I've said this before, I'm going to say in the game. I know for a fact that so many people, young and old, are getting introduced to properties, whether it's by their favorite Hulu or Netflix TV show, or whether it's by, you know, Endgame or these movies that are coming out in the theater, and they're coming out of the theater and they're like, so who are these characters? I mean, my wife, who is, you know, Mickey was talking about, you know, earlier in the show, talking about having, you know, I'm tired of my wife giving me dirty looks every time I just try to talk about comics. Like, okay, come on now. Like, she's over here, you know, she really enjoys the Marvel stuff, the MCU. And she's always asking, did this happen in the comic? Did that happen? Like, who are these people? What happened in the comic books? And no, she's not going out and buying comics, but it just goes to show my kids, their whole lives, they're now teenagers and they're still watching the movies, watching the shows, and then coming to me, hey, looking through my boxes. Do you have this, or this? Because, you know, we're going to their Marvel Unlimited. Look, there is a synergy here going on with these things being optioned and these books being there as collectibles and as something to read. And I'm sorry, there are more people than people give credit for that are really buying into this hobby because it is now multifaceted. It's not just a nerd hobby where you go to a comic book store and geek out. It's in your TV, it's on your TV, it's on the big screen, it's in the books. And I'm saying this is an amazing time to be a collector for all of these reasons. And that's my take from this pick right here, the Electric Black. And for me, what did I say when I was just talking about the book? Now I'm going to probably go on Amazon or something and try to see if there's a trade paperback because I'm interested in reading it. And then I'm going to want to go watch the TV show. So.
Dude, that is well said. And I never conceptualized, you know, my daughter's 5, right? She's just learning to read. I never conceptualized that maybe when she, like, hearing that your boys are doing that, like maybe my daughter's going to be doing that with my collection too. That is awesome. That is awesome. And it just, you're spot on that it's bringing more people into the hobby. It totally is. Absolutely. People want to learn about this. So I don't know.
And let me just say this too, because I feel people do this to paint it as something that's negative when they say people that go and see the movies don't even read the comics. Let's just say, hypothetically, for the 100% of people that go and see a Marvel movie in the theaters, let's say 10, and again, I'm sure the number is bigger than this, but let's just say 10 of them are us. They're people like us, right? But let's say 5% of them are people that come out, are like I said, are like my kids or something that, or my wife even, that, oh, now I have some interest. What if that 5% is the one that comes out and says, oh, I'm going to go find this in a comic. And then there's 85% of people that are just moviegoers, just wanting to watch the movie. How is that bad for the hobby if still 5% of people that were never into comic books before are now interested? It's a win-win altogether.
But it's becoming so ingrained in pop culture. You have major news outlets that are doing stories on these characters and the backstories and the comics. You have, like, you know, newspapers and things like that have their own section with all of this stuff explaining where these characters come from. So it's people that are that 5%. It's probably more than 5%. But these people are coming that are not us. People are coming to learn more about these characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the X-Men, you know, for civil rights. You know what I mean? Like, people are gonna, like, my mom's interested in that stuff, like knowing what Stan Lee did and push. It goes far beyond that, and that's such a broad and general and just an ignorant statement to be like, it's people who go to the movies. All the people that go to these movies don't read the comics. That's bullshit.
Yeah. And to your point too, I actually even talked about another video this week where I was talking about Berserker, and I tapped a little bit into the idea of, like, oh, Keanu Reeves, you know, he's going to, like, be in this comic book and that sort of thing. And I know that there's some part of the community that's like, oh, well, you know, that's, you know, why is he coming in here and blah, 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 and that sort of thing. But, like, I don't see why anyone would see that as a problem. Like, him using his celebrity to draw attention to the comic book industry, I feel like is only going to be like a good thing overall. Like, you're going to get other people, if anything, it brings so much credibility to comic books, like that this is an art form and a medium that you should, you should explore, and for a lot of people, there's a little bit of a bigger barrier to entry in comic books than like television or movies. So I think anything that can help people, take the leap to comic books is like a good thing.
Totally. I mean, that book is selling 600,000 copies.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and good luck getting the 1 in 1,000. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, you're exactly right. It's bringing positive attention.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% too. Another example I'll use, and it's not about movies or live action, but the hip hop variants, the Marvel hip hop variants. And this is coming from me, who I grew up in an environment, that was a bit rough and rugged, and I'm a bit of a I don't really bring out talk about swag. I don't really bring out all my swag or my past life here on my channel when I can geek out and talk about comic books. But comic books break cultural boundaries, and I literally, and this is no joke, like this really happened. I brought this up in a couple videos when I was getting trolled on my channel to just try to say, like, anyways, I'm not going to get in that. I literally saw somebody in the hood cutting up dope, reading the comic book, and then going out and hustling. All right. So, and I'm not trying to generalize or stereotype here, because I first started talking about hip hop variants. What I'm trying to say though is culturally, comic books are breaking those boundaries. And I think there's a something that when those the hip hop variants were coming out, it really, I think, brought to light those people that might not, like me. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was like, I've always enjoyed comics, but how do I talk about them? So, there's probably a lot of those people that are into the hobby, but maybe they don't feel like they fit into this, comic books are for nerds or for whatever stereotype it is. And there's these things that are opening doors saying it is more mainstream. It is for so many different types of people, and you could just be yourself. I mean, we have so many different personalities. I think all three of us here right now are probably extremely different personalities. We have lots of different personalities in the chat. Young, old, man, woman, different cultural backgrounds, ethnicities, race, religion, whatever it may be. And something like that with, Keanu Reeves buying into this and it being such a hit speaks to that. I don't see anything negative about any of this. You could call it marketing ploys. You could call it gimmicks. Go ahead. Sell me the gimmick. Sell me the marketing. If it means that the comic book industry that I love so much can continue to thrive and can continue to allow me to have a platform on here and to have books that I can read for the rest of my life.
Yep. Well said. Yep. And I think that is a perfect bookend to our top 10 hottest comic books of the week. There will be a new list next week. I'm excited for Chris to dive into that as well and give us his 3 most interesting picks. Okay. But right now, we're going to get into our Q&A. And this is an opportunity for you guys who have not seen WandaVision to call it a night with us. We appreciate you guys spending time with us. But we're going to talk a little WandaVision. We don't have an agenda. I didn't write notes. I don't know if you guys, my co-hosts did it all. But there's some stuff to talk about, some interesting stuff. I really enjoyed this episode. So, guys, we're going to give it like a minute before you leave. And we're going to actually, I saw a really sweet comment from Dan De La Torre that I just want to share with the group. Here's the deal. All 3 of you gentlemen and Comic Tom are the best shows to educate the comic community. Honestly, very flattered. But I think all 3 of us, I think it's safe for me to speak for all 3 of us that we learn as well from a ton of other people out there. There are so many people in this community that are talking about this hobby that we love. But we appreciate that you hold us in that regard as well. But definitely get out there. We're going to try and feature, all these YouTube creators every week on our channel here. And we just enjoy just, chatting it up with everybody about this hobby that we all love. But Dan, thank you so much. We appreciate you each and every week for joining us. It's really, really, it's flattering. I don't know if you guys want to add to that. I'm also trying to kill time to have people leave before we talk about
Right. Yeah, that's look, I'm always humbled. I am such a, and I say this often whenever I'm in a position where somebody is just giving compliments or sending an act of kindness or whatever it is, and I'm extremely grateful. Like I put, especially into my channel and in this show every week. I mean, it is a full-time job, really, and there's revenue involved, and that helps me put back into the channel, and it helps me do this, continue to do this. But the biggest gift of it is just the viewership and the support, but in this type of feedback. I mean, and I'm not just saying that. It really is. This is what keeps me going. That's why, I don't look, and believe me, guys, the bigger you do this and your channel grows, it's like, it's so hard to keep up with the interactions. I mean, it's a natural fact. I can't imagine like somebody like Gem Mint that has 100,000 subscribers, or some of these gamer YouTubers that have 1 million plus subscribers. Like, I can't tell you guys, if I ever get 100 or 100,000 or something subscribers, I'm going to tell you right now, I will do my best to still read all the comics. But right now, why I can, that's why I read all the comments and I interact, because although it takes a lot of work, it's a part of this hobby and what I enjoy, because I love interacting. And I always say it's a two-way street. And I'm not just here to sit on a soapbox and yap my gums. This is a community, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here every day, tuning in every day as well. So,
Yep, couldn't say it better. I don't know, Mickey, you got a following as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, Chris, as you talk about that, like, and I'm much newer than you are at this, and I'm just starting out and just sort of learning, but like, I started this just for the intent to like have some people to talk to, and it's blown my mind that there's a little portion of people that want to watch content of mine and interact with me, and that's awesome, and that I get so much value out of that, just personally, and it's really interesting because, like, when I started making the videos, like, yeah, you get like 1 or 2 comments and I'd have like full on good discussions, and now like I'm starting to get a little bit more, and I realize, oh yeah, this is like kind of tough to like keep up, or like I have to like set aside the time to like do it. But I can only imagine as when it gets to where you guys are at, where you're at, and then where Comic Tom is at, and then where Gem Mint, and then one day when you have like 1 million subscribers, who knows, But until then, like you said, just interacting. And for me, like before I started any of this and like started my Instagram or anything, like I the only people I knew in comic books were the people who were the clerks at my LCS. Like that was all I know. And now I feel like I've met so many different people online with it, and that's been awesome.
Definitely.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely excited to be talking to new people, with new people, and listening to new people and learn more. We're going to take one more question before we start talking WandaVision. One Shot Comics. What do you guys think about Avengers 227 and Spider-Man Annual 16? First SBR, second appearance of Monica. I don't know what Avengers 227 is, but Spider-Man Annual 16, you're about to miss the boat. Like, you need to jump on that ASAP. If you're thinking about getting it.
I think it's 227 when she joins the team.
Oh yeah, if that's the case, I think I have that.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. Yeah, it looks like it might be.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff. Look, I absolutely think that Annual 16 is gonna keep getting hotter. This book has been coming. Like, we got our first now what am I trying to say? Captain Marvel, in the Captain Marvel movie, we first got introduced to Monica as a child. That book was already picking up some steam before that. So we're seeing her in full action right now. I'm loving her portrayal so far in the WandaVision show. once we see her, like, and I already think that they're dropping hints everywhere for where her character is going to go. But when we see it happens, whether it's when she gets her powers or whatever, like whenever she gets named, like, yeah, that book is going to be a book that is going to hit a threshold, and regardless of if it has short-term ebb and flow in the future, it's going to hit a threshold that it's not going to drop below, and I don't think it's hit that threshold yet.
Ditto.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about jumping on it, do it now. Definitely. All right, guys. Let's talk WandaVision, huh? You guys want to talk WandaVision? I don't even know where to start with this episode.
It's hard not to start at the end, but I feel like there's lots still to
That's
discuss.
exactly it. It really is. I mean, I'm still worried we're going to spoil it for people, so get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll talk to you next week. But, guys, like, I mean, for me, it was spoiled. I think I saw people posting stuff. I didn't read, but I saw images of Evan Peters, okay? I saw that, and I wasn't shocked.
I had heard the name Evan Peters in relation to WandaVision, but I didn't know what it was. Like, I had even heard rumors that's like, oh, Evan Peters might be cast as Mephisto, right? Like, so I didn't really know what they were going to do with it. But yeah, when he showed up, it was still, you know, a surprise, but it was more like I felt in on the surprise in a way.
Yeah. Chris, I mean, like, here's an interesting question right here.
Okay.
Ray Quinzel, do you think that we might see mutants in the MCU after WandaVision? I think we saw it today.
We saw one.
Well,
yeah.
We saw Quicksilver, guys. We saw Quicksilver from the Fox property. And what does it mean? Because it was a cliffhanger. It was an absolute cliffhanger. So where does this lead us now with Doctor Strange in the multiverse, and then or Spider-Man 3 and then Doctor Strange? Who knows? This is crazy.
Who else thought it was Old Man Cap at first? Anyone?
No.
I thought it was Old Man Cap.
I thought it could have been Magneto.
Ford was like, yeah, because you know he had that kind of relationship with Wanda. You know, like through Civil War.
Yeah.
You know, and there was the Legos commercial.
Yeah,
and they referenced it before that. You know. So I'm like, oh, they went in and pulled out Old Man Cap to try to,
talk her down.
Yeah. So that's my first initial thing. How about this? Because I was annoyed at that ending, but annoyed because like it's like, oh, dude, really? They'll explain it though. So it was a good annoyed, but I was thinking like, because what's her name? I forget her name. Watching it,
Darcy.
Kat Denny.
Darcy. I'm bad with names. Is like they recast Pietro.
Yeah.
Or
Comics by the cover. I love that they played the classic recast that happened in so many sitcoms.
Yeah,
100%.
Very meta.
Yeah, it was
so
awesome.
But what I was thinking, my thinking is like, okay, does this have nothing to do with the Fox properties? Because we know how Marvel is so cryptic.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't Peter Quicksilver from the Fox movies. It's simply a person from the community that Wanda coerced with their magic to pretend to be her brother, and Kevin Feige and team are just doing an ode to the Fox universe by bringing that same actor in just to tease us. Or why did she look shocked though? Why was she confused at seeing him and being like, are you like, right? So is somebody else molding something out of clay or bringing somebody over from another universe or and this is the last thing I'll say, I'll let you guys jump in, or did she already crack open the multiverse without even knowing it, and he just happened to land there subconscious because of her subconscious doing? I don't know. So much.
I think I don't think what you said about her knowing, like, Vision asks who's at the door. She goes, she gave it like a serious, I don't know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. She opens the door. And by the way, this is what I thought too. Matt and I are on the same page. I first thought it was Quicksilver from the Age of Ultron, and I cannot remember the actor's names. He was in
Aaron Tyler Johnson.
yeah,
I think.
that's
Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
all right, thank you. That's who I thought it was, because the hair, the shape of the head and all that stuff. But she said, I don't know. And then her reaction when she opens it and she says, Pietro. But, and also, with Norman, the guy that Vision in the office hit up, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, what is she doing to us? Help us, or that kind of thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so many different ways that this thing can go. It's insane.
Well, so there's two things in one what you were saying, Chris, with when we saw him, technically they haven't said to us that this is Quicksilver from Fox. It could just be the ultimate meta sort of like Marvel in on their own joke sort of thing. It could be.
It could be.
And we'll never really actually know. Like, even if they say, oh yeah, he's from a multiverse, like they're going to actually have to show footage from a Fox movie to like literally confirm that he's that one from that French or that multiverse.
Something like that, right?
We will.
The other
know.
thing I thought was interesting.
They're not giving us a wink, wink, nod, nod. We will know what they're up to with this. I mean, like,
Well, yeah, I think we're gonna know what it is, but whatever they do to do that, we just haven't seen it yet.
But to that point, I thought it was interesting how he played it, like the actor, where it was like, he was kind of like that. I don't know if it was like a Full House, like Joey, like, hey, I'm here. But it was also like, he was a little more sinister in like how he did it. It was like a little, I don't know. Like, so I don't know if it's like, this is an Easter egg, like a nod, but it's really going to be a misdirect because he's like someone else or whatever it is. Like, I could see them doing that, throwing a curveball.
There's so many different ways. I mean, he was like, hey, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Like, the 6-1 or the MCU Quicksilver knows who Vision is, right? But the Fox Quicksilver wouldn't know who Vision. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was his tone and attitude a part of the act of everyone being brainwashed? Like the whole,
I don't know.
Like you said, the Joey vibe. Like, is that part of the sitcom script? And he's like, if Vision went and did the zzz to him, like that would, or I mean, it felt somewhere.
The thing is, it felt somewhere in between.
Right.
And that's kind of why it was like, okay, what does this mean? For me at least.
Yeah, it could go so many ways. Now I'm angry too, Chris. I think another really amazing part was when she walked out with the drone.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was like, fuck, Marvel is back, man. It is absolutely back. That was just so badass.
Yeah, and it was interesting too when they. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, well, I don't want to navigate away from that scene, but I was gonna say, like, all the parts with her, breaking into Shield and all that stuff too.
Show me that,
like
the footage,
her going, woman on a mission type of attitude.
Yeah, I'm glad. I was thinking, like, are they gonna kind of play into that and show some of that? So I'm glad they did that. Hey, real quick though, back to the Quicksilver thing, and I don't want to dive into this too much, even for myself, just because I don't want to overthink it and start diving into comic book stuff and be kind of like ruined. But, it could very well be that I think in this episode, we did find out, what do we know for a fact? WandaVision put her little energy bubble up, and whoever was in there is under her spell. Well, at least the majority of people we know are under her spell. And we understand, and I still think that the sitcom thing has to do with keeping Vision alive. I think it's playing through him like that because she's making him exist connected to some framework because that's how he was created in the first place. But what if her creating this out of her evil, it brought out some evil energy And that's what's going to lead to now some. So I don't think, I know, Mephisto has been big on, this is all, after the first couple of episodes, we're like, it's all Mephisto. Well, we know that it's not all Mephisto. But what if her doing this somehow the energy attracted Mephisto to say, ooh, let me like feed off of this or something. And that's why he's coming. And maybe this brother Pietro thing is Mephisto showing up somehow, to infiltrate the madness.
What does the devil usually do when he wants to tempt you? He gives you what you want the most. And what does she not have? Her brother. So I don't know if that's motivations, but maybe that, it made me think of that.
That could go a number of ways too, with having a perfect life with Vision, with having children, right? Like that could go a number of ways with that, what you're saying there. Like, but I guess, I don't know. I mean, Vision died, Pietro died. I don't know, man. Like it can go any which way. Yeah. That's what's crazy.
The one thing I think is interesting is when you mentioned, Jeff, you were talking about the I forget the character's name who had the moment where he got
Norman,
his and he broke it, and he said she's doing this, or I forget his specific dialogue, but he was like, oh, she's doing it, or you got to stop her,
right?
And it's like I feel like that's misdirect though, because like I don't know if that's necessarily Wanda. Like I wonder if that's maybe it's Catherine Hahn's character. And I saw you pull up one of the questions where I'm just like, I still think, personally that we might get Mephisto, but I feel like for this show, like, I don't think he's going to show up. I think maybe he shows up with his hand on a throne at the very last frame of the last episode, type thing. But
we did get the announcement from Paul Bettany that somebody is going to show up at the end of the show that he is so honored to work with, and it was a he. So, but hey, so could it be what's his name? Oh man, what's the actor's name?
Nathan Fillion
that plays Magneto.
Which Magneto?
No. The recent one that I remember.
Michael Fassbender.
Jeff,
Fassbender.
Yes, thank you. I remember in our second show, Jeff, and we were talking about it when the X-Men show up, and I was like, dude, like if Magneto shows up in the MCU, man, this dude is just he's killed it. He's killed it.
That's a good call. And that was so long ago, and that was so inconceivable. But look where we are now. It's unbelievable. And I'll tell you what. Last week I said I think Wanda is the villain in this. Yeah. This week now I believe that somebody's pulling the strings. Now she's very protective of what she's created because she's lost so much, right? But I think somebody else is pulling the strings,
or at least helping to pull the strings.
Yeah. Everybody has a boss
assisting her in her
Everybody has a boss. So it's like, if Catherine Hahn is pulling the strings, she's got a boss, and that person has a boss. And so, it always ladders up.
But the show is so fascinating, so well done, and so unique. It's just, today's Friday, guys. We have another 7 days before.
Oh my God, I know. Hey, what about Monica though? Real quick, I noticed that. So a few things that I noticed with her is that they're calling her Captain.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I don't know if that's any significant of her possibly at some point taking up the Captain Marvel mantle. I don't know. But and then what was so did you see when they brought Carol Danvers on screen and she was like that energy where she was like something was there where she was like
Monica Rambeau,
Monica
they had to do the testing over, and she's like, I got work to do or whatever.
Well, no, I think it was after that when they were going through when they were talking about
were you saying when she was dismissive of
she was
Captain Marvel?
She was like, well, Scarlet Witch or Wanda could have took out Thanos if and somebody else was like, well, you can argue that Captain Marvel could have too, and then they showed her and she was like, something like
reaction. She totally did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, is she just resentful because Captain Marvel never came because she was the daughter or the kid, right, in Captain Marvel. So
right.
maybe she's just resentful that she never came back,
right?
Or or like, who knows, like.
But these are all the little things that I think Marvel does so well, because I do believe that little moment is going to play out somewhere else, like in Captain Marvel 2 or something like that. And there's so much of that just the little stuff is all over the place.
There's so many little crumbs they put all through this episode. What I thought you were talking about was when she got the CAT scan and like you look down at the iPad that the technician was looking at, and it's like all white, and she's like, we got to get more blood work from you. So obviously that's alluding to her powers, I would say. And I firmly agree. Like, this is succinct, as succinct as we can talk about here with Evan Peters coming in as Peter or Pietro, whatever. This is also the official introduction to the multiverse. I believe that 100%. Yes. I also think that I think Monica has powers as well. The comic forged from Pressable Defects. You guys click the link for Pressable Defects too. They are down below.
To that point, there's someone I forgot who brought up the jumping on the ASM Annual 16 book. I'll definitely say this, from what I can gather, as far as like someone who's been like kind of value tracking just to learn, as soon as Monica Rambeau does anything cool as far as like superpower stuff, like you're gonna see that book.
That book is through the roof, man.
Nuts. So hey, only spec on what you actually want to own, but like it's gonna tick up again. Like as soon as that happens,
you are this close to missing the boat. Like, it's not gonna get cheaper, guys. It is not gonna get cheaper. So if you are highly interested in getting that book, now is the time. All right. But speaking of time, guys, I think we've talked everything through with that episode. I mean, there's so much more, so much little details to talk about. But, man, it's been a great show. We really appreciate Mickey for being here.
Yeah,
really
thank you, guys. Yeah, it was great. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me on.
Guys, follow Mickey down there. Swagglehaus Comics. Follow the link is down below for his YouTube channel. You will not regret it. Also, follow him on the Instagram, which I have here somewhere. There it is, Swagglehaus Comics. Follow Mickey down there, a.k.a. Swagglehaus. By the way, someday he's got to tell you all how he came up with, or how that nickname came to be. We'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
But again, we really appreciate all y'all for joining us. It was, again, another fantastic Friday, spending time talking comic books with the things that we love. Mickey, any parting words for our audience tonight?
Hey, thank you guys so much for, having me as a part of the show. Thanks to your audience for bearing with me. Hopefully I added to the conversation in some way. And I'll definitely, see you guys in the chat.
Absolutely. Christopher.
Man, as always, thank you all for being here. Guys, if you haven't entered the contest yet, I told you in the beginning of the show, when we're done here, don't do anything until you log out of here. Go find the comic book canon video, do what you need to do, click the link in there to my video, and do what you need to do there, because we got some awesome prizes to give away. And like I said, the sooner you enter, the more chances you have it being entered into that secondary prize as well as the grand prize. So enter the contest, guys. And, thank you for being here and supporting. Share it with your friends, keep spreading the word. And Mickey, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate what you do on your channel. I've been watching you grow, and very well deserved. I think we need to keep, like I said here earlier, so many different types of personalities, and I think you're one of those personalities that is just genuine for what you do. So I'm very happy to have you as a part of this community, and I want everyone to make sure you go sub them up too. All right. Because that link is below as well. Definitely.
Mickey, thank you for joining us. Audience, you as well. You make it so much fun each and every week. We will have another show next week, and it will be a fun one. I guarantee you that. We have a very special guest. Not to say Mickey wasn't special. Everybody is special. But
I'll be excited for that.
I'll be watching. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. See ya.